What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Big Dreamers Bible podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Jane, and today is actually going to be a IG live that I did on the weekend. And this IG live was a precursor to a free masterclass that I'm currently running right now. So if you're listening to this around the time that this episode just aired, or around July, what date is it? Around July 30th, then you're in luck because this free masterclass is still available, but it won't be available for very long. So if you do, after listening to this, or you're already like, wait, what? There's a free masterclass? I missed it. You didn't miss it yet. Unless you're listening to this like 2 weeks from now, then you did. You did. But if you're listening to this right now, you can go to the link in my show notes, join and register for the masterclass. You will get instant access to day one, the replay. Today, we're about to do day two, and I will be live on Zoom teaching day two at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll also be teaching day three, which is the final day, tomorrow, live on Zoom at 11 a.m. PST as well. And this masterclass is so juicy. It is called Seven Figure Frequency, and it's where you finally break free of the survival mode way of creating extraordinary success and learn how to scale your business to seven figures in a way that is actually set up and designed to support you living your dream lifestyle. You know the vibes. If you've been around here for a while, you know the energy, all right? Like, you know the energy that we do things here, especially do business in here. So the reason why I did an IG live on the weekend was because the codes were coding, okay? They were coming through hot for this masterclass. And even though, yes, this masterclass is 3 days, I have the gift of the gap when it comes to work that I'm obsessed with. Try and shut me up. I dare you. And I was like, oh my God, I have too many codes. I've only got 3 days. I've only got 3 days with these people and I have so many codes. What am I going to do? Which one am I going to select? And then I was like, no, this one's important. It needs to be in it. Let me just do it as an IG live, as a precursor, and I'll add it to my podcast. What a win for everyone, myself included, for my brain. So that is what you're about to get, is the IG live of this code that I wanted to bring forward. And I can feel myself wanting to give you a little bit about it, but I know I already do that in the IG live. So I'm just going to get to it. If you want to register, if you want to come join us live inside the Seven Figure Frequency Free Masterclass, registration link is in the show notes. You can also DM me on Instagram if you can't find it, or if it's not working, or if you have any tech difficulties. Not that I'm a tech wizard, but I will try my darndest to help you figure it out so you can be there with us in the energy, get these codes, and change your damn life. All right. I will see you guys in the Seven Figure Frequency Free Masterclass. Let's get to the IG Live. I want to talk about creating success from survival mode, because I've been talking on and on and on about this for the past couple of days. This is going to be one of the angles that we touch on during the masterclass, because it's something that I've seen from myself. I've experienced this myself. I lived in this energetic state for a very long time, and it's something that I'm very, very cautious of while I run and lead my seven-figure business, that I do not shift back into this old baseline frequency, because it's so familiar to me and it's so familiar to so many high achieving women that this tends to be the default setting. So when things get a little stressful, when things feel a little, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is going to work, when things feel a little out of control, it can instantly just shift us into this energy of like, let me just double down and work harder. Or maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I can't do this. And we shift back into this frequency, into whatever that familiar frequency is. And for a lot of high achieving women, that familiar frequency of how to create money, how to sustain money, how to create success, how to sustain success, has a lot of survival mode frequency fucking rid of in that shit. And what am I talking about exactly? Let me give you some kind of like tangible examples of what this survival mode creation way feels like. And that is always feeling like no matter how successful you are, no matter how well you're doing, you're always kind of just feeling like you're behind. You're behind. You should be further ahead by now. And then no matter how much money you make, no matter how many clients you sign, no matter how well your business is doing, it just like never feels enough. And yes, a portion of this is the desire piece that we're going to dive into. We're going to talk about desire, how to actually expand into your desires from a place of calm, grounded, like a steadiness of, I know who I am and I know what I'm bringing to the table. And from this place of certainty, I'm expanding into my new era, my next level of life, success, and wealth. But the flip side of this, the survival mode way, is I am separate from where I want to go. I am not there yet. And it's almost like the goal's on the pedestal And even though you have created all of this success, the next goal, because the goalpost just keeps moving. That's why you never feel like it's enough. You make more money, but you had already placed your safety, your worthiness, your value in that external win. So once the external win comes, you feel this high, you feel this rush of like, oh, fucking thank God. I did it. I made it. I did it. But as soon as you kind of get over that high, you settle back down into a baseline. And if your baseline is one that is not able to self-source this steadiness, this certainty within yourself, then you will then go out and seek that feeling from the next win. So that's when the pedestaling starts to happen and we start to measure ourselves up against the next win, which keeps us feeling never enough. This is survival mode frequency. Never enough is not enough is survival mode. You don't have enough. And the craziest part is I've worked with women at the height of their careers, literally some of the most successful women I've ever come across in my fucking life. And I feel honored and blessed that they've, even chosen me to support them. I've worked with women who have made millions, some even eight figures, who come into my world and they still have this disconnect between the success they have created and the embodiment and the integration of that new identity. There's a lack of that. There's a lack of acknowledgement that they created all of this. So there's this disconnect between who they have become, what they have created, which means when they are now moving into the next era of their life, when they're wanting to make more money, get more clients, succeed in a new way, branch off into a new direction, there's literally this feeling inside of who am I? Maybe that was a fluke. I don't know if I can do this. And hearing women who are so successful, who have already made six, multi-six, seven figures and eight figures, tell me that they don't know. They don't know if they're good enough to put out an offer. They don't know if they're good enough to sell a one-on-one coaching package on Instagram. Is baffling. Okay? It's fucking baffling. Like, it's almost comedy. And it's just happened so many times where I've had these conversations so many times. And I literally had this conversation with an extremely successful bad bitch client. I had this conversation with her on Wednesday. And what I'm about to tell you in these two codes of how to actually stop these two codes that really show you why this is occurring. I shared this with her on Wednesday. She's inside my extraordinary mastermind, and she was speaking to me about, how she's feeling right now, some like internal thoughts that are coming up, the direction she's wanting to go in her business, her brand, the next level of wealth she's ready to kind of step into. And she's already got a very, very established business. I think she's been in business for over 10 years, and she's killing it. And she literally said to me, like, I just don't know if I'm good enough to do this yet. And this is where this whole conversation kind of like got triggered, if you will. I got fucking triggered by it because I catch myself kind of repeating the same thing and I want to explain what's going on. And when I shared what I'm about to tell you with her, her response to my voice note sharing this first code was, I kind of want to cry because I've never seen it this way. And it makes me sad that I've been living like this for so long. And basically, here's code number one. Let me just fucking get to it. Let me get to it. Hi, Catherine. So what's happening is, this is the way that I pursued my dance career for over a decade, was it's almost like the success, the wins, the accolades, the money, the success that you're experiencing on paper, when you look at your resume, when you look at your credentials, you're like, okay, yeah, done that, check that, check that. It's almost like as those wins came in, it's like energetically your it's almost like an empty pit. And this is what I said to her. It's like, I want you to imagine that what's going on is how successful you have been. Everything you have created has come into your life, and there's been an acknowledgement of that in the moment, but it's so fleeting that the wind comes in and it's just like an energetic pit. It just like, there's no bottom. The wind comes and it goes. The wind comes and it goes. The wind, the money, the clients come and it goes. The next level success comes and it goes. And there's the reason why it's creating this survival mode reaction and response, and you never get out of survival mode, even though you are the most successful you've ever been. You have the most money in your bank account. And even if you don't, it doesn't matter. I promise you, the goal isn't postpone this work. That's not where I'm going. So even if you're like, I'm about to start my business, I want to make more money, I'm not there yet, we still do this work, because I'm telling you, this conversation needs to be had, whether it's today at day one of your business or when you're already at multi 7 and 8 figures, because you will bring your survival mode with you along this journey. It does not go away. That feeling inside of, I'm not enough. I don't know if I can do this. I feel behind. I should be further ahead. These feelings are a part of your identity, how you see yourself, how you resonate with who you are and what you have created. Now, let's go back to the empty pit. When you are operating and pursuing success from this survival mode frequency and the wins come in, but it's just kind of like they come and they go, they come and they go, and your focus is just like next, 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 next. And this is how I live my life. So speaking from a fuck ton of experience, next, 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 next. Then what's going on here is there is a lack of integration and a lack of identification with this level of success, which means who you were on day one starting your business is still who you are leading your six, multi six, seven, and eight figure business. And yes, there's nuances. It's not copy paste. Like, yes, your life has changed. Yes, you've progressed. Yes, there's a part of you that has more confidence. There is an expansion, of course, and you are acknowledging aspects of it. But on the cellular level, how you feel in your body and how your body is responding to your business and how your body is responding to your life, your body on a cellular level feels unsafe. It feels unsafe because you don't identify with the level of success being who the fuck you are and something you can create whenever the fuck you feel like it. And that's from evidence. There's a lack of integration of that. There's a lack of certainty around like your success. So you don't feel a connection to it. It feels like this thing that's separate from you, which means it's always something you have to chase. It's always something you need to go get. This level of steadiness, calmness, groundness, certainty, conviction, safety doesn't ever integrate into your body. So at all of these levels, you feel disconnected from them. So you stay in hustle mode, you stay chasing instead of making it who you are. And from solid ground, making it who you are, my hands are like, this fucking live. How are we feeling? Is this resonating? Give me some hearts. Give me some like flames in the chat. I like I'm on fire. I love this shit so much. Okay, so we are experiencing this empty pit experience, okay? We're experiencing this empty pit. This means that there's yes, so the hearts. This means that there's that lack of connection, which means you don't identify. I love you too, Catherine. I don't even know you, but I love you. Which means that there is a lack of identification with the success that you're creating, which keeps you stuck in chase mode because there's that empty pit situation going on. So, to turn this from disconnect, chase, hustle, stay in survival, stay in the identity from fucking 10 years ago, thank you. Thank you. You have to integrate and do this identity work, which means the success that you have created up until this point. I know, I'm so happy IG brought you here. The success that you've created up until this point, you have to integrate it. You have to acknowledge it. This work starts today. Okay? It started fucking right this second. Now, you need to stop discrediting your success. You need to stop discrediting how good you are at what you do. You need to stop discrediting that you have pulled off some fucking amazing shit out of thin air that leaves other people in awe. And not even other people. There is a version of you from 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago that would look at who you are today, the life you have created today, and go, how did you do it? How did you do it? And you would either be like, I know, or you'll be like, I don't know. It was a fluke. That is a sign that you have a lack of integration and identification with your next level life that you have created. So we want to start acknowledging this. We want to start leaning in to the success and letting it stick. And this is what I said to my client. I was like, the success and the wins and the accolades of who you have become is not sticking. It's not sticking. So you feel like you are always starting from scratch. That's why now in this pivot, when you're moving into bringing your work online, you don't feel qualified because you genuinely feel like you're starting from scratch. Not someone who has decades of business experience, not someone who has served thousands of clients, you feel like a beginner and you're not. And that's because none of these wins and the success that you've created is sticking. It's not landing, it's empty pitting and it's falling through the cracks. It's falling through the cracks. So when we start acknowledging this, they start to stick. They start to stick and you start to integrate. It's almost like it starts to, you start to acknowledge it to the point where you're like, I really did that. And I don't want you to just acknowledge it by being like, that was a good win. No, I said to her, and I made this a riff and I put it in SOD as well. So my SOD clients could hear this because it's a really important conversation. I was like, it's not just like cross this milestone, cross this milestone, cross this milestone. Yes, important, reflect on it, acknowledge it. But what I really want you to do is I want you to reflect on cross this milestone, but I want you to look deeper. I want you to look between the cracks of that milestone, the challenges you had to overcome, who you had to be in order to pull that off. So an example of this that I told my client was like, when I started to really do this work to stop being in survival mode so I could upgrade the identity, to have a foundation to jump off on and expand into my next level instead of chase my next level, I'm expanding into it because it's now an extension of me, not something that's separate from me I need to go get because I'm lacking it, survival mode. It's an extension of me, re-identification. The success I have created up until this point has integrated, meaning I have this solid foundation of who I know I am and what I bring to the table. And now from this certainty and this resiliency, this self-trust, this self-belief, I can face unknown circumstances like a motherfucking G, and I will expand into my next level instead of be rattled by every little uncertainty because my identity is still from who I am, who I was, years ago. I keep going on like these side tangents with these riffs and forgetting my fucking point. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. So I said to her, you need to look back at these examples, right? These milestones, these wins, these moments. And what I want you to do, and this is kind of like the example I gave, is like, don't just write it down and be like, oh, and this was the win. This was the win. This was the win. Because even then, like, there's a lack of resonance with it still. You're still just like writing it out like it's a resume you're about to hand to a fucking job. Like, there's a lack of integration, there's a lack of embodiment, there's a lack of identification with that level of success. Hi, you guys. Hi, Kessia. Yay, SOD baddie in the house. So what I want you to do is look at literally who you had to expand into. And it's going to be evident all over the place of the self-trust, the level of belief, your resiliency, your risk tolerance. And you're going to be like, God damn, I'm a badass. An example is I thought about when I moved, like when I started doing this work, I was like, okay, let me do the exercise. Let me do the exercise. And I thought about when I moved to LA. Kira! All my SOD baddies are in the house. Love it. I'm so excited. When I moved to LA at 19, it's like, okay, I could put that on my fucking little list, move to LA. But it's like, no, that's not identifying with the expansion of that. So it's like I had to figure out, you know, how to do all these scary things. I had to believe in myself so much. I had to have so much self-trust. And when you see that, you can't unsee it. And that win starts to actually stick. It starts to stick. So it starts to actually feel like who you are. And again, like I said, when you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like you've peeked beyond the veil. You've gone deeper with yourself. You've gone to a new level of depth with who you know yourself to be. And once that code clicks in for you, it's literally who you are on a cellular level. You're like, I fucking did that because you know you did. So your brain can't be like, no, you didn't. It was only once. It's like, shut the fuck up. No, it wasn't. Oh my God, I did that because the evidence is there and you feel that connection to that. This is already rebuilding that empty pit situation to solid foundation, solid foundation, solid foundation in your identity. So this is one of the main things that has to be shifted and changed and tweaked if you are wanting to get out of survival mode as you expand into a new level of life success and wealth. And, the reason why I'm bringing this conversation to my IG Live before we do the free masterclass is because I've got fucking more to give you. Okay. Like, I've got more to give you. I was like, let me just do this here because I have so much more to say. And, once they know this, we can do the next stuff. So, This is one of them. Now, the last thing I want to say to you in this live, which by the way, if you haven't already signed up for the free masterclass, comment the word frequency. I'll slide into your DMs. I'll send you the link. You can register, get the free bonuses. Join me live next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's going to be a time. It's going to be a time, especially if you're enjoying this conversation. You will love what I'm about to bring to the table. It'll blow your mind. Just casually tooting my own horn. Okay, let me focus. So, the last thing I want to say to you on this is we play this game with ourselves where we feel like once I get here or there or whatever it may be, I'll feel a certain type of way. And none of us are new to that. We know this. Like most of you have been doing self-development for fucking years. Like this is like a tale as old as time. It's like, no, it's not once you make more money, you will feel it. Feel the feelings now. Yes, yes, yes. But what I want to talk to you about is something that a pattern that I've caught in so many of my amazing, fucking high achieving, bad bitch, successful clients is how this plays up. So one of my clients was sharing with me that she currently works in an industry that's like one of her one of her current dreams that she's ready to actually move on from. It's in TV and film, and she works in this industry and she is wanting to move on from it and start her coaching business. And she's already started and she's already doing incredibly well with her coaching business. But she was like, I need my business to be at this certain level for me to feel safe to leave this job. And there was two problems with that. The first problem is business is not a linear line. So it's like, okay, great. You're wanting your business to be at 5K or 8K or 10K before you leave your current situation. You may have a 8K month, but unless you have stacked recurring revenue and you have set that shit up to be a 5, 8, 10K month on repeat for 6 to 12 months, you could have a 5, 8, 10K month and then the next month be 2K. And this is not a problem. Okay? This is not a problem, firstly, because if you had a 10K month and you had a big month, maybe you had a big launch, and then the next month is 2K, your next month after that could be 20K. So it's irrelevant. Slow, lower months are irrelevant. However, that doesn't mean we don't look at them. That doesn't mean we don't look at your business model. In SOD, I teach you how to look at your business model, set up sales pathways, so you can make sure you have a steady flow of sales and a way to actually do that, okay? So it's not that we just go, cool, 2K, it's fine. It's like, no, do you actually have the system to generate that level of cash flow? Is your business model set up to actually bring, if that's what you want, you get to have that, but there's some things, pieces to the puzzle that we've kind of got to put in place to make sure you can get there, right? So the first problem with that is this. And the reason why that's a problem is because her belief around that is once I get to this level in my business, I'm safe. And not that I don't want you to feel safe. I don't want you to source your safety from your business, is what I don't want you to do. Because the next month could be 2K. And if your entire safety, aka all of your survival instincts, is sourced in your finances that are coming from your business, a 2K month is not just a, let me look at this data, let me do some tweaks. A 2K month could literally take you out, have you running right back to your old life and quitting your business. And that is the problem with this way of creating. Survival mode will follow you to wherever you're going, which the point that I'm wanting to make is the fear transmutes from industry to industry. If you don't fucking sit down with yourself and have a conversation on what you're actually afraid of and why you're afraid of that, to actually self-source that safety internally so you can meet the moment, meet your business, make decisions, whether it's stay or leave the job, stay or move to your business full time or whatever it may be, you can make these decisions from a place of power, being resourced because the safety and your self-trust and self-belief is coming from within instead of this client or this, whatever. You know the game you're playing. So the reason why I said this to that client was she was trying to convince me that once her business gets to this financial level, she will feel safe, like ready to leave her job. And this isn't, I just want you to know, this is my advice to women like that is like, I don't care if you leave your job. There's nothing wrong with having another job. And I use the example all the time of like, when I started my business, I never expected to leave the dance industry. That wasn't the plan, okay? It just happened and it naturally, flowed this way. And someone was even asking me last night, she was like, was it hard to leave? How did you leave? And I was like, honestly, I didn't even realize I left until like a year ago. And I was like, I think I retired. Like I was so in denial about me actually not dancing anymore. But anyway, story for another day. So you're like, you can have your job and have your business. if you love what you do and you love your business, you can do both if you desire to. That was my plan the entire time. And I built a multi six-figure business while I was still dancing and touring and traveling and performing and in rehearsals because that was what I wanted. There's nothing wrong with this concept. So I said to her, I was like, it's irrelevant to me whether you leave this job and go all in on your business. Your business can hit six and multi six and seven figures, whether you're doing TV and film or not. It's up to you what you really desire. And what I wanted to show her was she was saying that once she fears money right now. She had this feeling, this scarcity feeling around money right now. And she was like putting that source of safety into her TV and film job. And then, once the business gets here, then, I'll be good and I can leave this job. And I said that fear will, if we don't look at that, if we don't look at what are you actually afraid of right now around money, not around your TV job, around you and your relationship to money, that fear around that scarcity pattern that's making you feel that feeling in your body that you feel like is being settled by your TV and film job, that fear is just going to come with you and transmute and just follow you right over here to your business. Like it's not going to go away. And I don't care how much money you make, it's not going to go away. Again, like I said in the beginning of this, I've worked with women who are making seven and eight figures and they still feel like this fear and money and survival has this chokehold on them because this work was never done. This work was never done where they actually integrate and identify with who they have become and learn how to self-source their trust, their belief, their safety internally and bring that fully online, meet the moment with power so their business, their bank account, and their life is not triggering them 24 fucking 7. Anyway, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is literally the tip of the iceberg of the conversation we're going to have. On day one of the seven figure frequency, I'm going to break down why this is actually happening and the analogy that I have for you. My SFA clients know I love a good analogy. All my clients know I love a good analogy, but like I've actually used this analogy before in a free masterclass, but it just got next level. Like I just went deeper with it, deeper with it, deeper with it. And I was like, God damn, that analogy is good. So I'm going to, on day one, really help you identify your survival mode pattern, your scarcity pattern right now that's leading every decision you're making in your life and your business. So we can identify it, disrupt it, and re-identify ourselves with our life and our business in a different frequency. Hello, the seven figure frequency. So that's going to be day one. And then day two is going to be very much around like starting to make more money, starting to normalize more money, starting to normalize this new level of success and really shifting our frequency into how do we found what was keeping us in survival mode. We found what was keeping us disconnected and chasing and stuck in this energy of like, it's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. We've found it. We see it. It's clear as day. And then day two is going to be like, okay, now that we know that, how do we build the foundation back? But not just any foundation, your seven figure frequency foundation. We're going to build and scale you to seven figures frequency first. When you do it this way, you are unfucking shakeable. No matter what challenge, no matter what hurdle, no matter what fucking hiccup comes your way, you are going to be able to meet the moment with so much power because it's coming from within, not from that client, that paycheck, that job, the algorithm. It's coming from you, bitch. That's going to be day two, and it's going to be liberating. And then day three, we're going to get into some business strategy. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. So comment the word frequency if you haven't already. And if you would like to join us in the free masterclass next week, get your bonuses. This was a little precursor. And thank you guys for being here. I need to go to Pilates like fucking 5 minutes ago. So I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate you guys for being here, staying here live, and comment on the video if you're watching this on the replay. Share your breakthroughs, and I can't wait to see you in the seven figure frequency masterclass next week. Bye, you guys.